returned to the first team that you were looking for?
No, definitely not. Obviously, after last Saturday, when the club's on such a high after such a good win, you want to come back and you want to be involved in another afternoon like that. And if we would have beaten Wycombe today, it would have been as good because it's such a good team. And frustrating that it didn't work out like that.
How much of this was that Cheltenham didn't play at their best, and how much of it is that Wycombe are a very good team?
I think it's a bit of both. I think when you're playing the top teams, like we will Luton next week, we need to be at our very best, 100%. And sometimes you have to hope the other team aren't. And today they weren't at their best. So I think if we did turn up today, and as players we have to take responsibility for that, I feel. If we were at our best today, then we would have had a chance because we didn't feel like they were unbelievable and unbeatable. So that's where the frustration comes from, really.
And although there weren't a great number of chances in the opening 35 minutes, you're certainly matching them.
Exactly. And against the top teams, sometimes that's what you've got to do. Try and stay in the game for as long as possible, and then 40 minutes, there's nothing between the teams, and then we go in at half time 2-0 down, which is something that it comes under game management. The gaffer's big on that, and it's something as players we're trying to work on, but it's where we need to put into practice on Saturday, and that's where the frustration is.
Game management is a phrase that gets used a lot in football. For those of us who don't work full-time in football, what does that mean?
I think it's quite a loose term. It means different things to different people. But you can see it with the top teams that if they go 1-0 up, they'll break the game up. They'll play in the right areas, which is maybe something that we need to work on. But we never give ourselves a chance to kill the game off. You look at some of the teams we played, Wycombe, Barnet the other week, we just got away with that. When they went 1-0 up, their time wasting, which is exactly what we do. I think we'd be as good as any other teams at killing the game and wasting time and whatever, but we just need to get the lead, and that's the first goal is something at the minute that we haven't had. Obviously got it last week and that ended well, so that's something that I think is really important for us going forward.
The first goal was obviously frustrating because you more than matched them, but the second goal seemed to knock a little bit of stuffing out of everybody.
Yeah, I think it was just before half time as well, so that changes the team talk. We're going at half time a bit more deflated than maybe 1-0, because we knew it was going to be an uphill task second half coming out against Wycombe 2-0 down. Nobody in this league will want to be in that position against a team, like I said, as good as Wycombe. So I think maybe it did, but there's no excuse for that. As players, we have to take responsibility, like I said, and we need to make sure that we're in that positive mind frame for 90 minutes, regardless of the score.
In the second half, it didn't quite happen, did it? Because everyone's thinking, OK, well, Cheltenham have played Wycombe before, they've been 2 behind and they've come back. But in the second half, it didn't seem as if there were a great deal of chances at all.
Exactly, it felt like a bit of a dead game, to be honest, and that's not acceptable from our point of view, because 2-0 down, we've seen that they can see goals, and that was where the half-time team talk was heading, as opposed to, oh, well, we won't get back into it now. You've seen the game at Carlisle 4-3, they've conceded quite a lot of goals, so I think to come out second half and not put them under as much pressure as we would have liked is where the disappointment is.
And obviously that wasn't the plan when you walked out in the second half. What went wrong?
Like you said, no one plans to do that. I think sometimes it just takes one moment to sort of ignite that spark and give us a foothold in the game. We never really got that moment, which is, like I said, I keep saying as players, we need to do better at that. Maybe it was just a moment of individual quality that is in other games, giving us that spark, and we kicked on from that. But today we didn't really have that. Collectively and individually, we weren't good enough today, and we know that.
You played a fair few games for Cheltenham in your first season league football. How good are Wycombe?
I think they're a good team personally, but then there's good teams in this league that will lose to teams like us, so it doesn't really have a bearing on the result sometimes. I think they're a good team, and you can feel that, but again, we've beaten some top teams this year, your Mansfields, your teams like that, so it doesn't mean that just because they're a top team we can't go and beat them or get a result, and that's where we're annoyed at the end of the game.
What was the mood in the dressing room at half time? Full time? Was it players upset? Were they angry? Were they frustrated? What was the mood?
I think frustrated. Like I've said, just with individual and collectively, it's just where the frustration comes from. So disappointed, but I think there's no better game to bounce back and get a result. Next week, Luton, people will probably laugh, but we've got that in us. And like teams have done to Luton this year, you know, we know anything can happen in this league, and that's why we're disappointed today. But Luton next week, who knows?
Joe, thanks so much.
No worries.